there we go. So where were we? Happy Mac, what are you sowing at the moment? Or thinking of sowing? Okay, so let's go through the list of things that I'm actually going to sow this month then. So we have just started with these beets, haven't I? So I'm going to sow the beets and I'm going to just let them get going, get a good root run before I probably don't really sow anything outdoors until May here. So the beets I'm going to sow, onions, so sprouts and onion seeds I'm going to multi-sow like I did with the beets as well. So for spring onions I'm going to sow 5 or 6 or even 7, between 5 and 7 in one of these modules and let them grow up and then plant them out as a module as well straight into the ground once they get going. So that's onions, spring onions, beets. I'm sowing peas, obviously. Now, beans, runner beans and bush beans, etc. I will sow them probably in the 2nd to 3rd week in April, indirectly in here again. And then when I plant out, and then sort of I would say 2nd or 3rd week in May, I will sow directly some beans outside as well, so that they'll just get going just as the last frosts are sort of over, because we can get a frost here in June, and we often do get a frost here in June. So I don't really like to plant anything like that out until sort of June time. What else am I going to plant this? So cucumbers, obviously. But again, I'm going to wait another couple of weeks for cucumbers. So Happy Mac, you've got tomatoes, peppers, broccoli. Yes, I forgot about broccoli. Got to do broccoli as well. Although I've been going towards broccolini a bit more. I seem to feel that the broccolini that I've been sowing, and I can't remember exactly what it is, I get more for my money out of that. More sort of, I get more florets, etc., from the broccolini than I do with broccoli. Broccoli always seems to me to be a long time going, and then you've got your sort of your big frond, and it doesn't. It seems to be a lot of work for not a lot of broccoli. That's the way I feel, anyway. Cabbage and Brussels sprouts. I've not been able to get over Brussels sprouts since I was a kid in school and having school dinners and having Brussels sprouts that were boiled for about 30 minutes before serving you. So I've never been able to grow Brussels ever since. It's like a mental block. It's like PTSD from school dinners. Cabbage, yes, I'm going to grow. So I don't grow that much cabbage. I'm going to grow some of that. Is it Red Hawk? Something like that, the red one. Zucchini for the first time so early. What? So you don't normally plant, grow zucchini, or I mean, that's one of the easiest things to grow, isn't it? You normally have to end up giving that away because you plant 1 or 2 plants too many, and then that's it. You're giving them away for the next 3 months. Either that, or you're just having zucchini or courgette, as I call it, with everything. The store prices are ridiculous, and they're going to remain, unfortunately, ridiculous until petrol comes down. But things like that, then it's if you've got the space, it's so much better and tastier anyway than store bought vegetables. I grew cucumbers in here last year, and I did start with zucchini, courgettes inside, but I didn't get much very good out of that. Obviously, you need the pollinators, and I didn't feel that I obviously didn't get as many as I needed in here, even though the tomatoes that I grow in here and the cucumbers grew really well. Cucumbers, I had them all the way till sort of nearly November, I think. Right, another thing I'm supposed to be doing here is actually taking some geranium cuttings. And I've had a couple of viewers, a couple of subscribers mentioning that they have taken some cuttings from their geraniums and they've sort of just near enough immediately turned black, etc. And one of them, right, so let's go from what I'm going to start with. So I'm starting with my normal, what mix is it? My normal leaf mold mix, and I've watered this previously, giving this a good watering. I've also watered this plant previously. So giving, so it should be fully hydrated now. And I've firmed this down nicely. And I've got a nice clay clay pot. I always feel these sort of do better for cuttings, etc. Don't know why. Maybe it's a superstition. So this is the geranium that I sort of brought back to life earlier on in the year in a sort of video, and there's got plenty of growth in there now, and I've got a nice sharp knife. And what I want to do is sort of go low down in the actual plant at the sort of bottom of the green. Can't really see that well, I'm afraid. But anyway, let's sort of take it. Oh, nearly cut my finger off. I'm off then. So as you can see, we've got a nice cutting there. So it's got too many leaves on it now. So all I'm going to do is strip all these leaves off. Near enough all of them. Don't really need them. And I'm also going to make sure that I give it a cut right below the leaf node there. Let's bring this down here. Oh, excuse me. Is that going to work? Few improvements to make on my production, obviously. Right, so I'll make sure this is nicely cut there. So there we go. And all I'm going to do is get a dibber, as in the back of my pen, and I'm going to make a little hole down the side, and then I'm just going to plant it in about halfway up. Voila. And I'm going to do this with all of the cuttings, basically put them around the edge. And we put it around the edge so it doesn't lose as much water in the initial stages. And then also, when this gets a bit of warmth on it, the clay pot, that'll warm up the actual earth nicely around where it is, and that'll grow nicely. The one thing I don't do is I'm not going to cover it with anything, because that'll tend to make it get too much water on the leaves, etc., and that'll usually turn it black. And I'm also going to keep it out of the sunlight. So a couple of viewers who have said that they've taken cuttings and they've put it under their grow lights. Well, you don't want to do that. You want to put it somewhere nice and sort of out of direct sunlight now, nice and warm, but out of direct sunlight for the first couple of weeks until you really see a bit of growth, top growth coming there. And that'll say, oh, I've grown some roots now. It's normally about 2 or 3 weeks. So let's take another cutting. I've got quite a few nice bit of growth here. Here we are again. Et voila. So I take all these leaves off. And we only want to leave 1 or 2 leaves on here, obviously, because it's got no roots at the moment. So you don't want it losing water. So it's got no way of taking water up at the moment. So at the moment, what we want to do is prevent it losing water, and it will lose water out of its leaves. So there we go again. Nice cut just below a leaf node. And I put it in about halfway. And it's as simple as that, really. Yeah. So there we go. There, I should be able to get another 4 or 5 cuttings out of that, and they will grow nicely this year, and I'll get loads of flowers, hopefully, from those. So, oh, excellent, Happy Mac. That's good. That's good. I don't bother with rooting hormone. I've not felt it's really needed. Especially these grow so easily if you just, like I said, keep them nice and moist, keep the actual earth nice and moist, but don't put a cover on them. Keep them out of direct sunlight, and that's really all you need to do. You can try rooting hormone, but again, I think I've found that tends to sort of cause them to rot as well. But I think that they grow well enough without rooting hormone to not need it. So what else have we got? So we've said about the seeds. I did a bit of seed sowing in the last one. Anyone else got any questions or any tips? Anything they're doing with their seeds this year? Something different? Most of my seeds, like I said before, I start them off indoors at the moment. Where my fire is, so it's nice and warm. As soon as they germinate, I bring them out into the south facing window that I have in my playroom, and then once they get going a little bit, and once the frosts, I'm going to wait another week or so probably before I start moving plants in here that are sort of slightly tender, because I don't want to put all that work in, and then this greenhouse is nice and warm in the day, but in the night time, the temperatures are still dropping below 0, and that can hurt them. But that's it, really. Peas and beets is what I'm going to sow this week, and then in about 2 weeks, I'm going to do the beans and cucumbers and things like that. What else was there? I've sowed some more lettuce directly into the beds behind me, and that will keep going until I actually plant tomatoes, etc., which won't be until the start of June. Egyptian walking onions. I haven't. Did they overwinter, or are you looking to? You've bought them this year, Happy Mac. I want to get those Egyptian walking onions only because what a fantastic name, Egyptian walking onions. I don't know what they taste like. So there we go. That is about all I've got, unless anybody's got any questions, etc. Oh, well, I'm going to see if I can find some of them as well, Happy Mac, because I just love the name. I need to get some elephant garlic this year because they just look fantastic. They're so big, etc. What is everyone's favorite veg that they like to plant then? Anybody got any favorite veg? Actually, well, I don't expose them to sunlight. going to pot them up actually next week. In the next week, whatever dahlias that I've got, I will pot them up, and then because I'll see if I can take some cuttings off them, and then I plant them. You know, obviously once they've got themselves going. So I never wait until I directly plant them outside. I always pot them up first, get them going inside, and then take some cuttings, and then, you know, because they're in the pot, etc., I'll plant them straight into the ground once they've got going. So that's my way of sort of getting them going early. Carrots. I like, multicolored carrots. I did some purple ones last year. I didn't think the taste was as good as my strawberry ones. The orange ones, the Naunt that I normally grow. But yeah, I'm going to grow purple ones again. Hot peppers, definitely. Mrs. F loves a hot curry. I'm a bit on the I don't mind it. I like a bit of spice, but I don't like it too hot. Whereas Mrs. F will have peppers on her, chilies on her cornflakes if she could. So definitely, although my chilies haven't got off to a good start yet, so we'll see. Green beans. I love, green beans. Are they French beans or runner beans? I absolutely love scarlet runner beans, and I grow them. I've always grown them. Every Englishman loves his runner beans, but I love to grow them here because obviously they're so beautiful. We're having a nice tunnel of scarlet runner beans, but the hummingbirds absolutely love the scarlet runner bean flowers, and it's great to, you know, go out with a cup of tea in the morning and watch the hummingbirds come in and start doing their clicks discontentedly, looking at me, and then going to have their flowers, etc. What else have we got there? Tomatoes, hard to choose, but enjoy growing them. Yeah, I like tomatoes. And do you know, I actually, because I love cooking, obviously tomatoes I never used to like, funnily enough, raw tomatoes. But now I've got, you know, doing some really good salsas, etc. And I love some nice tomato and basil, obviously, is the other bit. Tomato and basil salsas, and a tomato and coriander or cilantro salsas are always fantastic. Yes, Winter. Yeah, that's really good. They're good because they absolutely love those runner beans. Yeah, so Cindy and Neil, I don't know about that one. I normally just put them in a pot and plant them so that they're not completely really deep in, so that I can take those cuttings off. You know, because when you take a dahlia cutting, you want to take a bit of the root as well. So it's like it's a basil type cutting, isn't it? So I obviously doing something similar, but not the windowsill routine. Bush beans. Yeah, I like yellow bush beans. I always grow lots of yellow bush beans. They grow fast, don't they? And if you start them off early, you'll get a good crop. And then I actually plant a second crop normally halfway through the summer of bush beans, and you can get another crop out. So that's always a good one. They're good doers, aren't they, bush beans? Custard, yellow bush bean custard was one that I like doing. They're good ones. What else have we got? Anything else there? So warm sunny spot. Romano flat green beans. Oh, I'm gonna write that one down, Happy Mac. I haven't got those ones. Romano. Beans. I shall have a look out for those. Okay, well, there we go. A few technical hitches again, and I need to sort of improve the production bit so that you can sort of have a better view of things. I promise to get that better sorted for next time. But I'm looking for this to sort of be a regular little chin wag on a Sunday morning. Go through a few of the things that I'm doing at the moment, and every week, and then we can talk about anybody's got any tips. Or what's this one? Has anyone grow black salsify? I don't even know what that is. Happy Mac. Salsify. What is salsify then? Yeah, so while we're waiting for Happy Mac to hopefully type that out and tell me what black salsify is. Yeah, so essentially I'm going to try and do this every week, see how it works. You guys might like it. I thought, on a Sunday morning, people aren't normally doing too much, so it'd be a good time to do it. And I like talking, as you could probably understand. So yeah, I'll be talking about the different things I do in the week. At the moment, I've been concentrating mostly on my orchard and sort of getting the general areas ready for the growing season. But obviously, in the next few weeks now, I'm going to start ramping up, and late April, start of May is when it really gets going in the veg garden. Excellent, Winter H. Thank you too, and thank you for coming. Right, Happy Mac is supposed to be cold hardy, looks like a carrot, also known as vegetable oysters. Oh, I don't know if I like the sound of that. I don't particularly like. Quick story about oysters. I'm not particularly a fan of oysters, and I was in South Korea about it was about 5 years ago, and with a client, and so they all had oysters, and I had to you can't say, I was offered all these oysters, and you can't say no, can you? And they had some hot stuff on there as well. So I had these oysters, and the client was sort of, "How'd you like them? How'd you like them?" "Oh yeah, very nice, very nice. Have another 5. Oh dear, absolutely disgusting. Grandma loved salsify as a kid, but I've never seen any in person. Well, yeah, I've never even heard of it. I might have a look at that. Happy Mac, to see what it's all about. Flower kind of like dandelions. Well, there you go. Every day is a learning experience, isn't it? Okay, so I am going to sign off now, guys. Thank you very much for bearing with me with my few technical problems this morning. And hopefully this will get a little bit smoother. I am a project manager by trade, so I should be able to do a bit of prior preparation, preventing poor performance, and I should be able to improve that poor performance. So let's hope next week it's a little bit smoother. And half the time I'm sort of making it up as I go along, as in what I'm talking about, but the general idea will be what I am doing this week. Anyway, my name is the Optimistic Gardener. Good night, or should I say good morning? Job's a good one.